What's up, guys? It's your boy Darkskin, and today we're going to be talking about Lilia. Now, as you can tell from the title and the thumbnail, it is going to be, should you be making UR gear for Lilia? Now, if you guys don't know, I don't know how you wouldn't, but I have UR gear for two characters. I have UR gear for Valenti, and I also have UR gear for Deanne. Now, I play JP, so I already know a lot about UR gear and who to gear and what to gear and how to gear and all that stuff. But the question today is, should you make UR gear for Lilia? Now, if you've done your training cave, which you should on level 3, which like it's been out twice and it resets in like a day, you'll have around 39 of these, give or take, right? You could have a couple more, you could have a couple less, whatever the case. But so let's just say 40, right? For the sake of the video, let's say you have 40. The question becomes, should you give her UR gear? And if you do, which one should you give? Now, I'm mainly talking to free-to-play players, because if you're pay-to-play, you could obviously do whatever you want, right? So, as far as what you should do, if you're going to give her UR gear, you want to give her HP defense, right? Because she naturally has low combat class, and she is pretty squishy comparative to most units. Simply because she's an original character, you can't get that many outfits for her. Most people are not going to have that many dupes for her. She doesn't have any real association. It's just stuff like that. That's why, right? So to basically compensate for the combat class, to compensate for, you know, keeping her alive with her not being as squishy, you want to go HP defense, and you want to sub-roll pierce rate on the top 2 gears. Now, obviously I don't, but I'm not planning on giving her gear. So that's her optimal gear, right? That's her best gear. Now, as far as UR gear, if you only have 40 UR stones, you can only do 4 of them. The 4 you want to do are the top 2 and the bottom 2. Those will be the 4 you go for. And I mean, obviously you can do the 2 middle later. You don't have to do the 2 middle at all. Defense doesn't really matter as much. If you have like 7,000 defense, you'll be fine. And as you can see, she is well over 7,000. But here's the thing. Here's why you would or wouldn't give her UR gear. Number 1. We don't know who's coming out with UR gear in the future, in the near future, right? Because so far, I mean, it's only been 2 weeks, but so far they've given out UR gear every week for the past 2 weeks, right? So they could easily give out UR gear every single week. And if that is the case, a lot of units are going to get UR gear pretty quick. So if they do get UR gear, you might want to be giving UR gear to somebody else. Like, let's say Meliodas gets UR gear next week. You probably want to give it to him. You know, I highly doubt it. But let's say Escanor gets it next week. You might want to give it to him, etc. King, Gother, Merlin. There's just a lot of units that, you know, you could be giving it to. Granted, we don't know. Now, one thing we do know is that Lilia has UR gear now. In my honest opinion, I say wait, because I feel like you don't need UR gear right now. Like the general, like the mass, you know, majority does like are not gonna have UR gear. I feel like you don't need UR gear right now, right? Especially if you're not like the highest rank in PvP, right? Like I'm champion 1 challenger, so it's like I'm using UR gear for Valenti, which I'm using her for my PvP team right now. But for the vast majority of you guys, I don't think. I just feel like it's not worth. Because there's just other units that are, I feel like it's more worth. Now, the reason why you would give her UR gear, say you plan on maining Pin Team. Big shout out to Kabuki. If you guys don't know, Kabuki, he actually made a video the other day, I think it was yesterday, with a full UR gear Lilia, right? HP defense Lilia. Now, keep in mind, he's already stated that Pin Team is going to be his main team. Regardless, like, even if he takes Blue Meliodas off the team, he can still use Escanor, he can still use Hauser, he can still use Blue King. Red Escanor comes out, he can use Red Escanor. Lost Vein Meliodas comes out, he can use Lost Vein Meliodas. But he stated that Pin Team is going to be his main team, which, you know, I get it. I get that. So, in the case of, you know, that, if you are 100% sure, or you are very, very sure that Pen Team is going to be your main team, then yeah, you could definitely do that. Now, there's not that many team comps in the game, so I mean, I'll briefly talk about the ones that are in the game. You have Ult Rush, which consists of rushing your ultimate, obviously. You have Pen Team, which deals with Lilia, and then whoever other units you really want to put on there. It's mainly just Lilia and then other units, right? Because on Pen Team on JP, a lot of people run Lost Vein Meliodas, so it's like you don't have to run Blue Demon Meliodas. But you have Pen Team with Lilia. You have Ult Rush, which is generally with Merlin and then King. Gowther kinda, but you don't have to use Gowther, so it's really just Merlin King. And then you have humans mono red team as well, which is a comp you can use. And then obviously there's variations of those, like sub-genres, right? Like say you run, you know, King Estarossa and then like Lost Vein Meliodas. That's like a sub-variation of, you know, Ult Rush, but it's kind of trying to counter other teams with Estarossa ult and his passive, etc. There's just sub-variations, but the main teams are Pen Team, Ult Rush, and then, you know, mono red. But so yeah, I mean, if your main team is going to be Lilia or Pen Team, then you could start UR Gear. I still say wait, because even if you're running Pen Team, you probably want to get UR Gear for Meliodas first. You probably want to get gear for Meliodas, then Lilia, simply because Meliodas is going to be a damage dealer. I mean, like I said, if you're going to start UR Gear for Lilia, I say go the bottom two first. That's what you want to do first. So if you just want to get 2 of them for her, get the bottom 2. And then after that, you can go into the top 2. So yeah, if you wanted to, you don't have to do full UR Gear. You could easily just start UR Gear and have it, you know, with the bottom 2. That'd be perfectly fine. I'd completely understand. But yeah, as far as what you want to do with Lilia, I say wait. I don't know. I mean, like, this is my thing, right? Say we look at my team, right? Let's go look at my team. This is my main team, which is Ult Rush. King doesn't have his gear on. And this is the team that I'm using currently for PvP. I'm using this team currently for PvP simply because I don't plan on using Pen Team much at all, right? So naturally, I'd want to use the opposite of that, which would be Valenti. Now, obviously, there's multiple variations of the Valenti team, but Valenti is just like you want to use Valenti to counteract that, you know, what's it called? To counteract the pierce rate of, you know, the Pen Team. So this is the team that I'm currently using right now. Valenti already has UR Gear, but I'm planning on getting UR Gear for all 4 of these units. Now, if Helbram gets UR Gear, like let's say Helbram gets UR Gear next week, I'm probably gonna wait. I might not. I don't know. We'll see. I have a problem, but I'm not using him in PvP right now. So unless I start using him in PvP, I'd probably wait to get him UR Gear. On average. Now, me personally, I wouldn't wait, but I'm gonna be making content and stuff. I'm a content creator that's different. But like, say you ran Kingbram and Helbram got UR Gear next week, but you have not been running Kingbram, like you've been running this team recently, I'd say wait, because you're not using them. So the same thing with Lilia. I mean, granted you are using her, but it's like, I feel like it's just not worth it, because even on this team, right? Even on this team, I'd probably want to get UR Gear for like King first, before Helbram type deal. So, as far as Lilia, man, I just don't think it's worth. You got to look at who's on her team, right? Because like, she's going to have HP defense, so her combat class is going to be high to begin with, right? But comparative to like Meliodas, who's going to have attack defense, or if you're that type of person, which I am, you can go attack crit damage, UR Gear. You're also going to have Escanor, which Escanor can go HP defense or attack defense, so that's kind of, 50-50. But with Meliodas, giving him UR Gear is going to boost his combat class super high. And that's just going to make you probably go first, right? You're probably going to be the person to go first. And if you're going first with Meliodas having UR Gear, he's killing the first phase. Like, I don't care what you say, I don't care what you do, Meliodas is probably one-shotting, unless they have a Valenti. If they don't have Valenti, Meliodas is probably killing them. Especially if he gets 2 attack cards. They're probably dying. So, as far as case of Lilia getting UR Gear, I personally don't think you should do it now. I do think it's a good investment. She is one of those characters you can give UR gear. I say wait. To see what we're getting, because you don't know if Melios is coming next week or not. Granted, obviously he could not. But most people, I'm pretty sure everyone, you don't even have enough like UR stones to get a full 6-piece UR gear set. So it's like, it doesn't even really matter if you wait or not. I honestly feel like you guys should just wait and then make that decision later on. I definitely think she should get UR gear if you're going to use Pin Team. Like, that's going to be your team. But I feel like you should wait for now. So anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Be sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Comment down below. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. That being said, I will see you guys next time. Peace.